This is NTV.
All right, a very good morning to you. It's good to see you. Exactly 8 or a minute past 8. So that means it is time for your world. I hope that you've had a better start to the day. Welcome to the show. My name is Winnie Lubembe, and of course today it's all about life after high school. And again, like it has always been said, that life is in phases, and one of the major challenges that faces teenagers and youth is what to do next with their lives after their secondary school education. So the next, although the next general thing on their mind is to further their education by seeking admission into the tertiary institutions, not everyone gets to do that, and especially when they did not do so well. The truth is, life happens to everyone, and that lofty dream may not become a reality on time, depending on circumstances that confront them. So the question is, what do you do next? How do you pick yourself up and find your purpose and find your dream and go after the same? Well, today's show, it's all about resilience, right? And of course, for those of you who are watching us, maybe you're done with school and you're thinking, okay, what exactly do I need to do with my life, or what next? Not to worry, because of course you'll get tidbits and insights on how to move forward after high school. So to help us with that conversation, we have Sarah Munyi, who's a life and career coach. It's so good to see you.
Thank you,
this morning. And like I keep on saying, if we have not met this year, I'm just going to say Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. We are allowed to say that,
right?
On 26th January. Happy New Year.
Up until March, or even December, you never know. And of course, we also have Kinyua Royford, who is an industrialist. And it's very interesting that you call yourself an industrialist. And of course, we'll understand why you do that. But karibu sana to the show. I'm going to say Happy New Year as well.
Happy New Year too.
Because the first time that we're meeting, and we're meeting in this New Year. So asanteni sana really for coming by today.
Thank
and
you.
of course, Kinyua, again, for just, first of all, agreeing to come and speak with us and share your story with us, a story of resilience and hope, which is a really good thing, and it's something that we need at the end of the day. But Sarah, first of all, let's just start with that transition, because like you're transitioning from childhood, the phase to teenagehood, to now adulthood, where you have to make decisions and you have to, you're sort of like by yourself, quote unquote, because majority of the times you're under your parents' house. And now that also umemaliza form 4, you have to go to college or just figure out your life. Sometimes it can be scary, no?
Yes, it can be. And in your late teens and your early 20s, you are legally an adult, like you've already gotten your ID. You're legally an adult, but you're mentally still a child, in the sense that you haven't started making decisions for yourself. You have to now learn to start making decisions for yourself, standing up for yourself, confidence skills, bravity skills. There's so many things that you need to learn, and sometimes there are those dreams that you had, oh, growing up, I want to be this, I want to be this. This is the time. This is the time to make that happen or not. Actually, it's a very scary, place for so many, for so many students or Form 4 leavers, because this is where many dreams die. Actually, you had a dream of becoming a mechanical engineer or this or that, and then all of a sudden you realize nobody can admit you with the grade that you've got. You've got a D, you've got a C minus, you've got a C, even a C plus. You can't be admitted for the course that you wanted, and this is where so many dreams die. So unless you have a lot of guidance and coaching to tell you, what, you can always start from somewhere. So many of them will feel lost.
Absolutely. And again, what you said, because majority of the times is like your parents make the decision for you. It's like you have not so much responsibility, because again, someone is in charge of that. You're just living and eating and doing all those things and going to school. And then after the results, everybody's looking at you thinking, okay, so
what are you going to do? And you don't know, you haven't figured out,
right?
And it looks so obvious. It looks so obvious, like, oh, when you finish high school, of course you're going to
college.
It looks so obvious, but it's not. It's not. And I have seen the number of students who reach out and say, you know what, I don't know what to do. And some even feel like you've even gotten a C+, or even a B, but you're like, I can't be admitted to the course that I've always wanted. I can't. So what do I do?
Yeah.
You see, so you are confused. I think it's very important even for parents to know that, you know, it's not obvious for the, you know, for the
child to figure out.
Yeah, or to think for them that, oh, with this kind of grade, they need to go for this program. We need to really sit down with them, even
And
find their strengths, their abilities, and their passions, and so that we don't end up giving courses that we want, and then they feel like, oh, you go through a whole course of 5 years in university, and then you say, nangoja nimalize hii degree, nipatie madhe, nipatie mse,
and then
nikatafute yangu. I do my music, I do my passions, you know.
Yeah.
So as parents, it's very important we seek for mentorship. Career coaching is very important. Let your child go through career assessment tests. Yes,
so that to know their strengths and all
you
those
find their
things.
strengths and their ability and where they are most aligned to be. Otherwise, we tend to make decisions for them even now, because you've gotten this grade, you need to go for this program. Yes, and it doesn't work.
Yeah, like and some actually start preparing them mapema naombe wewe unajua unafaa kuwa daktari wewe,
or you want them to live your dreams, right? You wanted to be a nurse, and you didn't get it, so you want your children to live your dreams for you.
Yeah, okay, I see that. And of course, then I think what we'll focus on is then when do you start, because you mentioned we need to start, you know, career mentorship and career coaching way earlier before they sit for the exams, right? So then I think at what point do we start that, and you know, what are some of the areas that we need to look for in order to help this teenager sort of align towards, you know, they're passionate about and what their strengths lie. But for Kinyua, let's start with you, high school. Right? Let's go all the way back, because you completed in 2017.
Sure.
Right? About five years ago. And what you said is you did not do well, and it did not shock you.
Yeah.
Can we just start from there?
I was ready, mentally ready. Maybe we go back to maybe Form 1.
Yes.
I joined Form 1 in June, that's second term, because of challenges. The person who was supposed to pay for my fees, the person who was supposed to be concerned, he wasn't concerned. So we're still trying to figure out which school I should go, how much money do we have. And okay, I had struggled with my primary school, so even class 8 actually, you know, these stuffs you do with KCPE. Yeah, I got them on Monday evening. Yeah, I got it on Monday evening. Tuesday was exam. So maybe that journey had prepared myself, like I was ready. Hii maneno ni kama school wise it's not going well. And come for secondary school, if I can count the days that I was in school, they can count, maybe my register would count 2 years, because nilikuwa nakuja shule nakaa, wakati nikifukuzwa naenda home. I don't have money to come back to school. Maybe I'll go home, maybe okay, nyumbani hakuna bado zile hakuna pesa nini, so I'll go hustling. I started hustling when I was 11 years, class 6. So nilikuwa nafukuzwa naenda natafuta majob, casual works. Then narudi shule ikitulia, maybe watu wamerudi wamelipalipa, so narudi, but
it wasn't.
Also
so it's like more of on and off,
on and off like that. Form 3, actually Form 4, I spent almost 4 months, 4 to 5 months. And also before I came to sit for the KCSE, I came from outside of the school. So nilikuwa najua I don't have content. Every time I was out of school, nilikuwa nafikiria vile nitaenda kuhustle, like jobs nini. So my mind started to shift from school to work, from school to lifestyle. Like apart from school, my mind was like nikimaliza hii KCSE nafaa kuwa job, nitaenda job gani? So that was my mind. Nilikuwa najua I will fail, because most of the exams nilikuwa nakuja tu na kalia, and I tried to content, I don't have content because nimekuwa home. So I was ready for that. And immediately after KCSE nilienda job car wash from 7 to 8. I had moved on, you know, ile ku move on. So mimi najua education, mimi nimemaliza hiyo chapter. I failed. Actually later the next year nilikuwa nasikia from the former Form 3s, you know, they are the Form 4s now. The principal used to say, we were like an example, like alikuwa anasema kuna 3 guys wao ndio walitushikilia kule chini, and these guys walikuwa wanashinda nyumbani. You know a principal will come to say, you set a good example, like kuna watu walifanya hivi, don't be like them. So we were that example, the people who failed. But deep down, in Form 2, Form 3, I had started to figure out my life. There's a program I had gone to a church, and the speaker of that day, alikuwa anauliza, you should know your talent, what's your destiny. So that hit me around Form 2, Form 3. So I started to search myself.
Okay.
Who am I? What's my talent? What can I do?
Yeah.
And I realized I'm good in business. Because I started working 11 years.
Yeah, when you were 11 years hustling and all those
alafu
things.
Ni zile jobs you have to read. You know you're working even mjengo, they call mjengo. You're working with people who are older than you, so you have to be self-conducted.
Yeah.
So nilikuwa nishaanza kugain how to conduct
a bit of experience
yourself.
here and there and all those things. Okay,
So,
just to put a pause over there and hear what Sarah has to say, because again, this is a situation for so many other people.
Yes.
You know, so many other families who are struggling to put their kids to school and ensure that they stay in school consistently up until they finish their high school. But again, sometimes that is not the case. It doesn't happen, and it can be a difficult time and period for both the parent and the learner, you know, as well. So then the question is, there's in this and understanding, you know, all this dynamics. Sometimes it can be very hard, you know, given what Kenywa is saying. To hapa easy because now I'm the number of times I'm outside school is more than when I'm in school.
Yes. Yeah, so I think it's a very delicate and it's a very sorry situation for a student, for to find themselves in such a situation. You know, at home you're not getting any help, and even when you go to school, you know, you are in for only 5 months. You haven't really studied. You haven't really had time to revise and interact and really prepare for the exam. It can be very scary, and that's why I will go back to the question you had asked before. When should this even career assessment test, things like that, should happen? You see, because it's very important, right? When you're in high school and when you're choosing even your subjects in Form 3, you have an idea of how you are aligned, you have your personality, and you have an understanding of even the gifts and talents and abilities that you have, so that you can be able to really follow and pursue that path, and that's why I think for me the CBC will work. I think we are yet to see, but I think it will really achieve that in a way, but it can be very scary for a student. So for me, what is important is look for help anyhow. If you realize you can't get help at home, if there's any other way, whether in church, you see now he made sure I'm going to church. Where else can I go? Because I can't get help. He went to church, you see, and when he gets a chance, he'll go to school. So look for help as much as you can. Follow the teachers. How can I get help? Where else can I get, if it's the funding that I need for my school fees? And then also, try and work hard. You really need to do the work. You really need to do the work. I think for me, if you do what you have to do, you're working hard, you're trying, but there are still difficulties. Even God looks at that student and just, But I want to say it's very important for you to know your talents, abilities, and maybe you're very good. Some of us are not aligned in the sciences, You are very good in the field. You play basketball in school, you play, what else do you have? You are very good in soccer. Don't just think, oh, that's just something we do on physical education. You can really start working on that, and start at district level, or start somewhere, or you run. Don't ignore these gifts and talents. I mean, we are very great people who we are producing this guys, sportsmen and women across the world. Some of the richest people I think we know in the world are, soccer players and what have you. So don't ignore that small gift that you have, because it could be the career that you really need to build and
I think
live by.
One of the things that people struggle with a lot of the times is, how do I know this is for me? Because you've had this where they say in primary school, when you ask a child, who do you want to be when you grow up? They'll tell you, I want to be a doctor, I want to be an architecture, I want to be I want to be an engineer, you know those ones. Yes. Considered like
astronaut like me,
right? You want to be an astronaut. Yes. And then over time that sort of changes, because this child might actually show interest in those things, and then it changes over time. They get to high school and then they develop like other interests, and then even after, develop other interests. So the person is like, so then how do I know that this is what I really want?
One, the reason why we forget about some of the dreams we have in our childhood, there must be a point of inspiration. Maybe you saw somebody come home driving, looking very nice, and there are doctors. and they want
That
to be
is
a
what I want.
Yes, or you watched your mom or your family member struggle with a certain disease and say, one day I'd want to treat people.
Yeah.
You see? So one of the reasons that makes those dreams die is lack of nurturing. They're not nurtured. You see, so we just think, as parents, we just think, oh, those are the, the dreams we had. They don't really childish,
It's like when you're from 4.
Yeah, they will have changed. So we lose them because they are also not nurtured. They're not nurtured, and because of that, even for me, why I didn't pursue, my astronomy, is because it was not nurtured. And even I don't think in Kenya there's anywhere you can study astronomy to this date. I don't know where you can. If you learn, tell me. I will still go. My masters, we must live our dreams. But you see, there's no nurturing, and even there was no, even in the country, I didn't hear of any even up to date. So if there is the right nurturing, and for parents, don't ignore what your child say. I'd want to do this. I'd want to do that. Try and take them, expose them in that area. If there is a doctor, maybe in neighborhood, sometimes you sit with them, let them go, what is the different things, let them ask all the stupid questions. You never know, that inquisitive nature will take them very far. Absolutely. So that's one of the things that makes those dreams die too. Of course, we developed a new interest in life. These careers are changing every day. I mean, we are in the tech world. Yes. The jobs of today probably would be relevant in 10 years. There will be other jobs. So it's also good to keep on seeing what is happening in the industry. Like when we speak of information technology, there's so many careers in that space, so many of them. If we speak about even medicine, there are so many of them, and even some that are coming up because of technology. So it's important that as you seek out somebody, maybe it's somebody who's in the medical world, what else is new that is coming? And as you grow up, you keep on checking, like you read newspapers and what have you. I'm sure you'll get to find a place where you can really
actually
fit. Yes, you can actually fit. So
I like that. All right, and Kenya, for you, and I'm really curious to see what you have to say. What is it that you wanted to be when you were younger, and what are you doing now? I saw a tweet recently where someone was asking, actually, for all of you who wanted to be pilots, nyinyi ni pilots wapi sahi?
Somebody actually said because I didn't get to be a pilot, akashonesha uniform ya pilot. Yes, at least anajikumbusha. At least nilivaa uniform.
Right? So let us know, what is it that you wanted to be when you were growing up, and now what exactly are you doing? Okay, so that we see whether our dreams died or we're still pursuing our dreams. And Kenya, something that he said is you knew very well, school education really clearly is not working for you because you were not in school consistently. Sure. So you knew from a very young age that business is what you'd want to pursue. How, first of all, what gave you that, that nudge, that conviction that business is clearly for me? Is it that you had more successes when you were from age 11?
Let's go back to way before I got to 11 years, when the struggle started to come to my life. I was a bright guy. I'm bright. When I was in class 2, class 3, I used to be between number 1 to number 5. I was a genius. My dad used to tell me, go and be genius. Every time in the shule, go be genius. So I was good in school.
At that time, what did you want to be?
A pilot.
See?
Pilot. Pilot.
It's like admiring something. Kids are somehow something I saw. Oh, a pilot.
Right? Like flying planes and all those things excited you. Okay.
Sure. It's excitement. But later, with exposure and doing a lot of things, you come to realize. Actually, before I knew I was a business person. I remember it's my spiritual father in the church that I was going at. That day, after the session of knowing your destiny, knowing your talents, knowing your gifts, it hit me, and after the session, I went and greeted him. The session was on fire. But I'm questioning myself. I'm a bit curious. Mimi ninaweza kuwa nani?
Okay.
Yeah, and he told me he knew me a lot because I used to visit him. He used to know my story because when I'm not in school, maybe I'm at work. When unajua kuna ile time kuna after watu wakifunga shule and the youth are coming to church maybe for the dancing, kings hang around church. Mimi sikuwa napatikana church. But after some time, Sunday I'm in church. But watu wanajua siko hatuko shule, tuko on holiday. But the preacher used to know mimi niko my job, because I used to come and visit him. I have been working and so I've been doing this and this, and now I'm free, so I came to visit. So Kaniambia, Muremi, you are a business person, you know, Nina, I like how I like how you work. You're a business person. And it hit me like, oh wow. Actually, by the time he was telling me, I was actually in a business. It was form 2, form 3.
Okay.
I was hawking porridge in the farms. Nimefukuzwa shule, so I'm trying to cook porridge and chapati. I go to the farms and sell. So I came back. I was motivated. Oh, so I'm a business person. Because I also my partner was mama. Become too very old. So I was like, yeah, this is the journey.
You learned from them.
And the time I went back to school, where she talked at, you know, students also need to be nurtured, mentored to know how to select subjects, because you need to know these students. What are you good in? What would you like to be? Even knowing your career way before, maybe for you to be able to select the languages. Unfortunately, when people were selecting languages, I was at home. A friend of mine selected agriculture, physics, he was okay. But when I came back knowing I'm a business person, ulinieke agriculture. I went to the staff room, excuse me, my apologies, I was away, but I don't need agriculture. I really need to change to business.
To business,
And they were intrigued. We don't see you in class. How will you, you know, from you had dropped business, so how will you recover? But I told you, I got this. I need business.
And it's interesting because from your story, it's not like you wanted to do business from a younger age of 11. It's not like this is what you always wanted. You looked forward to going to business, you know, after school. It is because of necessity. There was no money. There was no, you know, whatever it is that you needed, you know, for school, that is school fees and, you know, just money to facilitate your learning. This came from, you know, a point of lack. And, you know, over time, you were like, you know what, maybe this is what I could do. But Sarah, there's so many people who are like, so this is not happening for me. What do I do? Nikai to home, because now there's no money, there's literally nothing. But for him, he was like, you know what? Yes, there's no money. I have no support. I'm spending most of the time outside school, but I'll still try and do something just to pay for your school fees, right? Yeah. So Sarah, then for someone who's like, so then what do I do? What is it that I can do? Because nothing is happening at home and even at school.
Yes, so I think it's important, whatever it is that you do, make sure you're doing something productive. Don't just stay at home idle just because you've been chased from school. At home, there is no hope. I like what he did. He didn't just sit at home and, you know, because, you know, when you're idle, you know, even with this, that English saying that says that idle man is a devil's workshop. That's why I find so many of young people in that situation, you'll end up into the wrong, will start drinking, they'll start those kind of things. So whatever it is, make sure you're doing something good and productive, you know. And also look for help. For me, I want to say look for help as much as you can. When you've realized that at home there's no help, at school maybe you can't talk to a teacher, go to a pastor or go to somebody who you think can be able to guide you, and so that you don't end up, you know, making decisions that you regret later, you know, or getting into things that are not good or productive. So get into something that is productive, you see. So whether it's even looking for work, because you need to feed. You see, for him, he had to put food on the table. Anyhow,
at the end of the day,
you've got to put food on the table. So and you go out to Mjengo, whatever, you're working hard, you see. So do something productive, you know.
But some might say, but business is not for me, you know. It's not for me. It's not working. Once or twice or thrice,
and you have not even seen anything you can do at home. Maybe at home it's agriculture and everything. So I think at that point, I'd want to say that you see, now you have to be at home. Maybe you are cleaning or doing that. When you finish doing that, then there's nothing else to do, you see. Unless you go to the farm and maybe pick tea. I come from Kenya, and that's you just go and pick tea. But for me, I'm saying, try and see if there's anything productive that you can do. If there's no food, how can I put food on the table? You know, can I go and pick tea or try and do one or two things, or go and talk to somebody who can help me? Or just don't sit at home doing nothing, because then you start getting all the bad ideas.
That's true.
You can also do this bad thing, you know, and then it's not something good, you see. So I mean, it's a very tricky situation for a student to be in. But I want to say, even if you go to the chief of the area and tell them, maybe go to Madhe Hawezi, and nimejaribu, I'm sure there's CDF also. Sometimes, you know, it's just, you don't know you can get help from CDF, or there's somebody who can sponsor you. There are people who maybe you look at and think they have made it, or you look at them and see they are successful in the society. Go to such a person. If you can get any help at home or even in school, go to the children and say, I really don't have anything, I don't know what. I'm sure you will get help. You can always get help.
One way or the other. One way or the other. All right. So Kinyua, exams are here. Only 5 months in school. And of course, like you said, you did not do well, and probably someone is curious to understand, because again, when we say fail is relative. There's someone who was aiming for an A, akapata A minor, they say you may fail, right? Someone who was aiming for a B, akapata C plus, anasema may fail. So for you, what did that look like when you got your results? What is it that you saw, and how did that make you feel?
I had moved on. And
okay.
Yeah, but
you had moved on even before the result came.
Yes, I knew I'm gonna fail. I'm gonna fail because I was in school. I wasn't revising. Yeah. You know, lack of practice is not being ready is being ready to fail. So I was ready. I knew this. I got an E, by the way.
Okay.
Yeah, but I had moved on.
So you were not shocked when you got your results and
I wasn't shocked.
E. You were not. You were like, this is what I was expecting. But what about the people around you?
Okay. A lot of neighbors, a lot of people who are close to me, they already knew what I was going through. And the good thing also I have to mention, I used to spend my time, my colleagues and my friends, my age mates. There came a point I can't hang around those people, because when they are free, they're going to the PS, to the fields to play. But when I'm free, I'm thinking, how can I do to earn some money, to have some food today, to have some lunch, and maybe buy a shoe. And I started to become good friends of their parents. If you're my friends, I'm a good friend to your parents, because I'll come visit you. I'll do something. If you have a farm, most of my neighbors had farms, so I had to hang around those people. Wakienda shamba, mi naenda na wao kwa shamba zao. I spent time. There's a friend of mine, actually my best friend. I became a good friend of his brother. His brother was a teacher by then, and he was a teacher and a farmer. So after school, he was going to the farm. So I used to spend time with those people like them. They used to motivate me. And if you fail, you can do this. Because I was a bit curious. Also, curiosity helped me a lot.
You had so many questions.
Because
you're that child where everybody does not want to be around with, because unauliza maswali mingi sana.
For me, they used to like, because I was a bit curious. Nilikuwa namuuliza like, how much did you buy this? And when did you buy this? You know, he had a motorbike. And I asked him, ulibai hii lini? How did you buy? How did you come up with the capital to buy this? He was also the firstborn, so he was always ready to share with me. He would tell me the hardships. So with that helped me. You know, they used to tell me. Actually, someone told me to go back. Back to school.
Okay.
They knew I was gonna fail, and they sent my mom to tell me, "Mwambie arudi shule, tutamlipia."
And that's the thing, Sarah, with so many people, and especially those who considered themselves as I failed, right? I did not get this grade that I desired, or the grade that I wanted, I failed. And majority of the times, it's like the only solution is go back to school. Maybe you will do better. We've seen some people who've gone back to school and got worse grades than the ones they got before. Or we've seen some who've gone and did better, right? So then this decision of going back to school, what do you feel about it?
You know, first of all, we had about 48,000 students who got E's, actually, and even many who got D's, and they feel, you know, I was speaking to a group of about 500 Form 4 leavers in Kirinyaga County the other day, and I told them, you know what, if you really feel that if your results come out next week, and you feel you haven't achieved, you can also consider repeating. They shouted me down, I said, no, we cannot go back there. We cannot go back there. But, you know, and it's also not a must. You don't have to. You actually don't have to, because as you said, that those who go back and actually come back with worse results or the same results, and you feel like it's a wasted year or 2 years. So I would say I want to say this: you can start from anywhere. You can start from anywhere. If you've gotten an E, you've gotten a D, first of all, it's not the end of life. It's not the end of life. Don't hate yourself. Don't, you are not a failure. Failure is not fatal. You know, you are not a failure. You can start from anywhere, whether it's from certificate level or whatever it is you want to study. And then from there, you can even bridge with some courses, mathematics or something, so that you can get admission maybe to a certificate or a diploma program. Then from there, proceed. If you want to go all the way to university, you can do that, you see. So all hope is not lost, and it's not a must that you repeat. If you really feel you don't want to do that, you can start from anywhere, whatever course that you can. And then also, this is other thing we tell them when we go to speak to them in such forums. Not all of you will go to university. We prepare them. My prayer is that you work very hard, even when you go to schools. My prayer is that you work very hard, and actually, well, you get to pursue your dream. You go to university if that's what you want. But in case that doesn't happen, don't kill yourself, don't hate yourself. And it's true, not all of you will go there. So, but you can start from anywhere. And it doesn't mean that those who go to university will become successful in life, or if you get an A, you'll be successful in life. But those are two different things. There's so many other things, yes. And it doesn't mean that when you get a need, you are a failure and you are a low life and what have you. Even going to that technical institute is okay, and doing a program in plumbing. Do you know how difficult is it to get a good plumber? Yeah. Not just a plumber. To get a plumber is difficult. Now to get a good one, it's very difficult. And that's a program of 3 months, 6 months, you see? Or even electrician or things like that. It's simple things that sometimes we ignore, but they are very, very important. Some of these skills, if you go to the US, you're a plumber, you're an electrician, like you are, you know, you have that skill, you do very well. So we shouldn't look down at some of these blue collar jobs, because we've always had this grand idea of going to university and getting a very nice white collar job and coming home driving and what have you. We shouldn't just, you know,
focus on that as well. And of course, my question was going to be, and this I think we'll talk about after the break, is should we then, you know, this mentality of white collar jobs, me I want to be employed, me I want to, you know, work in this certain, like, should we just completely do away with that mentality? It's good if you can get that, but that should not be the only thing that we think, quote unquote, guarantees success. So then how do we change and harnessing our skills, you know, that you talked about, understanding it earlier, before even Form 4, you know, so that you're not caught in a situation where, like, okay, so when we middle Form 4, what next? What do I do with my life? All right, and of course for Kinyo again, like I said, his story is of resilience and hope, and now you have 3 registered businesses, right? From an E. And you know, and like Sarah said, majority of the times people will be like, your life is over, done, completely, because you can't even bridge, right? Because of the same. So 3 registered businesses, and you went back to school, which is a good thing after a while. So of course we'll be also talking about the same, but again, if you're watching us and thinking, hey sister, maybe what do I do with my life, maybe you consider yourself as, I failed, I did not get the grade that I wanted, or you're a parent watching us and you're thinking, hey, my child did not do so well, what next, what do I do with my child? Again, field all your questions. Sarah is here, Kinyo is here to answer all your questions, but of course all that is coming up after the break. Stay with us. This is your world.
You're going to take your oxtail and then you're going to brown it.
Wagon Republicans. This week, Teen Republic is going to be live on location at the Kenya National Archives. We'll be having amazing artists and crazy discounts for you.
And not forgetting, guys, we are going to be having the amazing Head Boys dance crew right here on location. You know me better than the average. Music policy will be courtesy of DJ Rickmo, the Afro King.
Welcome back. Glad you're still with us. I am still waiting to hear what you guys have to say as far as the career that you what you wanted to be versus what exactly you're doing right now. Okay, so that we see, did we just give up on our dreams? Did they die? Did you get the correct mentorship that you needed, and where are you right now? That is what I wanted to see. But we have Kinyua as well as Sarah here in studio just to help us understand life after high school. What next? Because majority of the times this is a question that we usually ask ourselves, either for the parents or for the learners as well, and majority of the times when the teenager does not know what they want to do next, so the parent is like, sasa tutasaidia na you don't know, I don't know, or I have an idea of what I want you to do, but then again I'm not too sure whether it's something that you'd want to do. It can be like a very difficult and scary time, and especially for many learners who are like, majority of the times it's the parent who used to make the decision. I have to make this decision. Is this the correct decision? Is it not? It's just too much, for so many people. So Kenya, let's just start with you. So then after Form 4, of course, you got your grade. You were not surprised. You had already moved on, which is very interesting. So what were you doing, during this period, and up to where you are right now?
Let me start even, there's something that happened in first term when I was in Form 4. Okay. I used to brainstorm Facebook, looking for people. If I came across a post and it inspired me, I used to deep down, like, who people, where do they come from? That is the time I used to read a lot of biographies, people who made it, their life, the backgrounds. And I came across a certain program in Westlands. I had never came to Nairobi. I was still in Kirinyaga. Okay. I came across a campus in Westland that it's for the people, the Form 4 leavers. Okay. It was called the campus edition. Immediately after Form 4, what are you gonna do? Yeah. But the post that I came across, it was a graduation. Like, it was an open, it was free entry. Yeah. So it was a graduation, and I was like, oh, free entry for a graduation. Let me go and know what is graduation? What do people graduate from? Yeah. And that was also curiosity. Yeah. And the first time I came to Nairobi, that's 2017, around February, March, I came. It opened my mind. I found people, so people after Form 4, they come and discuss. They come and get mentored on the, you come and interact, because they usually bring people who have made it in life, in career, maybe a pilot, maybe an engineer. On the graduation day, they talk to you. Like, they tell you, Mimi, have been my journeys from Form 4, college, and how I got my first job, and how I feel about it. And it really opened me. But deep down, I was like, but I don't have a good paper, but it has helped me. Let me go back to the village and proceed with what I got to do. Okay. Then after Form 4, I went to I got casual work at the car wash. I did for around 2 to 3 months. Luckily, February, someone called me and told me, an uncle, he called my mom and asked him, nilisikia kijana wako alimaliza Form 4 and kuna job in Nairobi. Okay. So those are the things I was ready for. All right. You remember there's someone who had asked her, mwambie arudie shule. Yeah. There's something also, somewhere I was asked there, what's your dream for Africa? Or what's your dream for African youths? Okay. And I said, my dream for African youths is to see youth make it to the top. Okay. And realize themselves early enough. Oh, I'm good in this. I want to pursue this. Pursue the same, yeah, that's my dream. And but at that time, I wasn't ready. Sikuwa nimefigure out what I can do. Yeah. So that I was focused. Maybe mimi nataka kazi. Sitaki mtu ananiambia nirudi shule. You don't care about any other thing. So I went with the one for the job. Yeah. I came to Nairobi 1 year, 2 years. 2019, it was going okay. I was earning
So what
some
were you
good
doing when you
cash.
came to Nairobi?
I was a salesperson and a rider.
All right.
Rider boda for the spare parts shop. So I used to deal with spare parts, selling, delivering to the clients, and I thought life was okay. But you know, I was curious, and I knew the people I admire. I used to admire rich people, so I was keenly looking at my boss. Hey, who you boss? How has it made it?
What is it that
where are
they're
their kids?
doing?
And luckily, his kid, alikuwa na firstborn wake alikuwa form 4 when I was okay. I'm after form 4. Then he's in form 4. I'm working at their company, but he's in form 4. So I used to listen to what they are planning with the wife pale. Nasema mtoto wangu nataka akimaliza, I want to pay for him a short course at Strathmore University. Niliona ni mzuri na maths. And I was oh wow.
Okay.
Yeah, it's good for them. But you remember I had gone for an open day for a graduation, and I was still following these guys. So I was like, one day maybe if I get a course that I can do without the papers, I don't want them to ask for the papers because I don't have a good paper. Yeah.
So, and it can be very intimidating because every time popote unaenda unaulizwa si umemaliza form 4, you know, because majority of the time there's sort of like a cut off at least, you know, uko umemaliza high school. So I can understand how intimidating that can be.
Good thing I had practiced being good kwa ground. I was very okay kwa ground. I was the best worker
the hard
there.
Skills and stuff.
So when I came across there was another program. It used to be personal finance management. Unakumbuka ile ya after form 4, I didn't go because I wasn't really motivated. Like there's something I can do after form because I have broken the path of education. So mi nataka vitu za money minded. So I came across a personal finance management course at 15,000. I was like, okay, and you can pay in installments. I talked to the boss nikamwambia nataka kuenda it will be on Saturday, 2 hours every Saturday, and he gave me the opportunity. And those are the things that build in me.
And that's interesting to note actually, because then yes, in as much as you expected those results, because again, you were not in school, you know, consistently, but you did something to, education is not my thing, clearly, but there's something else that I can do on the side to sort of like, you know, get the skills that I need to survive, you know, in this need, and that is very interesting. But Sarah, for then someone who's watching and thinking, sasa tapata wapi hizo courses, where do I go, you know, where do I you know, access? And also there's that question that you talked about, and that is money. Maybe they need money for me to gain, you know, this and that you know, skill. So then how can someone maneuver in this, you know?
I want to say that I've found a very good system sometimes with the churches, because at least now you go to the church. Yes, you find a lot of those mentorship programs. Please be part. By the way, Seek Mentorship, this is a time. Seek Mentorship where you can find it. Yes, whether it's in the church or it's a program like this on TV. Maybe if you have TV at home and you know, seek programs like this where you can learn. But I know him, and I saw him in one of my mentorship programs here in Nairobi. I don't even know where he saw my posters, but he just came, and then he came for the second time. I used to have monthly, you know, programs. He came for the second time, and for the third time, and then I asked him, you know, what do you do? Who are you? And he told me I've just cleared Form 4. I was so impressed. I was so impressed. So I'd call him every time because I love, you know, and he would really follow. He was there. You can tell he's really serious. Like he really needs it, you see. So seek mentorship where you can find it, and this is the time. So if it's an educational program, if your parent can afford to pay for you, if it's in the church, you know, even some books, if you have that, you know, can help you in personal development books, if you have access to that, seek help as much as you can. And also, speaking to people in your area that you really admire about some things that you'd want to do. You know, so and so maybe is in Kenyatta University, they do this program. You can also ask, what about this other program? What are the other programs, you know, that you can do? Then I want to say it's very important even for schools to give exposure to students. I know there are some programs or some schools I've seen doing this. So they take their students to, like when they get to Form 3 or Form 4, they take the students to a tour at a university. So the whole day, wanashinda huko. Wanaenda from the School of Business to the School of Arts to the School of Arts, and they just get a feeling or, you know, of what to expect, maybe some of the programs that are there, and they get you educated on the new programs, new courses that are coming up in the different areas, the different sectors. So that way they have a good idea of what is happening, and, you know, they're not, you know, at least they have, there's options. I can do this, I can do that.
Yeah.
Feel like I can also do this.
Yeah.
So they have that. So for the schools, I think it will be very important to do that for
at
your
least
students.
integrate
Yeah,
that,
it would have really helped them. But when you don't have that, please just seek mentorship where you can find it. If your school can't afford to even bring somebody to speak to you, please seek out people in the society you consider successful. Be curious, talk to them.
Yeah.
Stay curious
and
stay
ask
curious.
all those and ask all those questions.
And invest in yourself. Invest in yourself.
true.
And then nobody should downplay these you know, simple principles of hard work.
Yes.
Hard work. You know, yesterday I was somewhere and I was listening to Michael Joseph speaking. I mean, he's that's the chair of Kenya Airways and I think Safaricom. And you know, when you listen to such people who are high achievers, you will think that the secret to success is something grandiose, like we haven't heard, like, you know, we really want to listen to such people. But they will come down when you hear the secrets. How did you manage this? You hear hard work.
Yeah.
Same thing you have been told since you were.
Yeah. And majority of the
never
people,
downplay this kind of
and majority of the people were not good in school per se,
Yes.
but they were really good at hard skills. And,
Yes,
and like
the
what-
hard skills,
yeah.
yes, those
And
hard
what Kinyo
skills.
actually said, you know, we're talking about this during break, where, you know, yes, kulikuwa na moshene huko usicheze na Kinyo unaona alianguka mtihani,
Yes.
you know.
But-
and most parents would
Yes.
do that to their children.
With the work
But
ethic.
yes. On the
Work
other
ethic,
end, right?
Time management,
Yes.
you know,
Discipline.
tenacity, discipline,
Yeah.
you know, being curious, being responsible.
Yeah.
These are things you have been told since you are in primary.
That's true.
You know,
That's
you,
true.
you are now the firstborn. You need to be responsible.
Yeah.
You make sure nikikuja kila kitu ikwe imeoshwa,
Sawa, yeah.
nini, ngombe zimepewa maji na
Yeah.
nini. Those small things of responsibility, they go very far. They go
Absolutely.
very far in life.
Yeah.
And those principles of success, those we call them, they don't change. Whether you go to Australia, it will be the same. Whether you go here, maybe you passed very well, congratulations, you got an A, you get a scholarship, you go to Cambridge University, you go to Harvard University, you go to Moore University. The same principles you'll be told by your by your lecturers. If they are kind enough to tell you, because they take you as an adult, you know what to do.
You know what you have to do. And all
Those are the
and
same
maneuver your
principles. So
ways. Yeah.
I think that's very good. You know, the work ethic, being obedient.
Yeah.
You know, they'll take you very far.
Yeah.
And they'll open for you so many doors. Character, you know, that's your character. That's a good character. Those character will take you very many places.
Yeah.
Having been a professional, worked for a while, I have seen, and now having my own company, I have seen some you know, some principles or some characters of some people, and I know they are not kept in the company by the MDs or whoever the owner of the company is, because of how good they are, because of their performance, or because, you know, they're the best performer, the best salesperson, but their character. We know that when Royford Kenya is there, we know that
Things
office will be
will
closed,
get done,
things will be well, checks zitadepositiwa, the character, the hard skills, they are, you know,
They
you can't
actually
beat
go
them
all
on
over.
that.
Yes, you might be like the brilliant of minds, but really some of this thing, tiny things, will cost you. Okay, so Kinyo, you have learned a lot along the way, right? You have gained, you know, skills. You pushed yourself, you know, asked so many questions. You were very curious, and here you are today. So take us through, you know, some of this, because like you said, registered 3 businesses and counting. He said that before we went over. He's like, yeah, and counting. I am not done. So how were you able to get to this level? When did you register your first company, and the second one, and the third one, and, you know, and counting?
Okay, my first company, Roy Pishori, I started in 2019. I was still working in Nairobi. But something in mind used to ask me, so what are you good in? What would you like to do?
Yeah.
And something else to, you know, a business comes from identifying a problem.
Yes, and you need to provide solutions for the same.
At the place that I used to work, people used to ask me, oh, unatoka Mwea? Si uniletee mchele, ukienda uniletee mchele. I was like, oh, this is a business.
Yes.
So I was like, mchele ni 130, ni 140, tulete pesa, kuna 5 bob hapo yangu.
Yes.
Tulete 140 nikulete. Wakaniambia, sawa, weenda ukuje. I didn't have to go and come back. I just had to ring a phone. And ninataka, kuna mtu anataka pishori kisijui 2, mwingine anataka 2. I said with 30 kgs. Nikakuja nikapea huyu 5, nikapea huyu 5 na huyu mwingine 5. Hivyo. Na nikamaliza. And afu naingia job. Jioni nakuja na collect pesa yangu. I'm okay. That's how the business started. But again, it wasn't, you know, sometimes you look at, okay, it came from rice. So Roy Pishori. I didn't say Roy Pishori rice because I was like, siwezi uza mchele peke yake na ni sustain. So it's kind of a serious shop. So I said Roy Pishori. I registered as a one name because one day the same person will ask me, mnakuaga na maharagwe, mnakuaga na vitu zingine. So that's how the first business came. And I started part-time. And it failed also. And it came back. And it's also one of the reasons I quitted the job that I was working, because it became overwhelming other than the job.
Yeah, balancing the two.
Yeah, that's the first business. And the second business I registered in 2020 after COVID.
Yeah.
You know, I was...
During COVID,
yeah, people are idle, people are thinking. Okay, actually that's the season the first business failed. Unajua sana tegemea mchele. I'm not working.
Yeah.
So, and people are running from Nairobi and they're not buying rice. So it failed, then I closed it for some time.
All right.
And once you close a business, you lose even the clients, because even the few
on.
clients will call you and they will not reach you, so they'll go to someone else. But the business is still there. I never gave up on the business. I thought of marketing, because I was still asking, what can you do? What are you good in? My previous job, I was good at sales, customer service. Like clients, nakumbuka hata the first day nilikosa kukuja job, jioni the colleagues walikuwa wananiambia, fulani alikuwa anauliza kijana wa bike ako wapi, ule kijana wa, they used to call me kijana wa Saimo, because he was Saimo out of Spears. So they used to call me kijana wa huyo mwenye, because I was good in engaging with clients. So nikafikiri nikaona I'm good in sales, I'm good in interacting with clients. And every time I'm in a business, I'm thinking of, okay, I was also impressed by how these people are making money.
Okay.
Like I was to, hey, and I make, and I import nini, and I import, and so okay, if there's no job, I'm also affected as a worker. Because leo ameboeka. So I started knowing, like, I'm in his shoes, other than kuna colleagues. Nikisikiza colleagues vile wakati hakuna job, hawako tu sawa, but myself, I'm concentrating on the boss.
Fail, pia mimi nitakuwa kwa shida.
Ninaangalia boss na ana stress, because I'm also having a dream to own a business. So I was in the shoes of the owner of the business. So you asking about the second business?
Yes, like at what point did you open the second? You said in
2020.
Yeah.
2020, there was no jobs, COVID. It was only work from home. I remember when actually I was living by myself in Nairobi. When the business failed, I had to go back to Mwea and do the casual jobs that I used to do when I was. Nilienda tu kutafuta connection, the bridges. Like nimerudi, nilikuwa Nairobi, nimerudi, do you have work that I can do? But deep down, you know, usually I still had that thing that this is not good for me. I'm going back. Why am I going back instead? I should be going up the ladder. So I also prayed. I used to pray and ask God, please, kama vile Yesu alisema this uniondole hii. So I used to tell God, I don't want to go back to this casual job, because I had seen people make money smart. Like someone is importing something and I've imported, this is the buyer, you exchange money in the product. Haujachoka sana. So I was like, I want to think,
this is what you want to,
I have to think more, because so that I don't do the casual jobs. So I think later 2020 I came back to Nairobi. Ile mnashikanaga youths, mnasema friends, mnasema acha turudi, tutashikania tuchukue kanyumba, then we shall figure out what we will do while we are there. So at that time, and actually after 2020 I got my second job, where I'm working currently at Trivon Trading Company, where we deal with water purification machines and daily and water and milk processing machines. So when I came back to Nairobi, I was like, I'm going back as a marketer. I want to approach companies. I remember there was a company that used to import goods for the guys I was working to, but it failed. Unajua kuna ile time mizigo inakuja, then kuna kuwa na shida pale kwa port, unakusana na clients because of the delay. So nikasema, let me go and approach this guy, nimwambie I can bring back those clients. So I used to go and approach people. I tell it, I can do this for you. I look at the company.
At a fee, I hope.
I look at the company. No, you know, I want to present what I can do, because I don't have papers. So I want to first identify a problem in that company. Then I want to come up with a solution. So I want to be a marketer. At that time, klabu ndio zilikuwa zimeanza kurudi kazi. The other jobs were still under breakdown. So club nikaona, okay, can I be a marketer? Can I run a social media for a club? And I approached some, one of my friends was a DJ. So I went to the club and nikamwambia nitafutie manager wao. I will run the Facebook page for them.
Okay.
It's 10,000 maybe. And I started that 2 months. It was going down, but I was still thinking, because this is not sustainable, and this is also not a field I want to be. It's the clubbing. I don't want to be. So I have interest in maybe imports, real estates. There was some industries I was interested in.
You had so much interest.
So I was still looking. At that time, I registered the business. I came up with a name. Because I want to look at the problem and solve it.
Yeah. So was it like an import business? Because you said you developed much interest in that.
In the import businesses.
Okay.
Maybe I was looking at the turnaround of the business that had a lot of money. Import business, maybe selling of cars, selling of machines. I came up with a name called Refine. I want to refine your brand. I want to refine your marketing brand, your marketing in your business. Are you in spare parts? I want to refine your staff. Maybe. Then I translated it in Spanish and called it Refina. Refina East Africa. And I registered the company.
So that is what you're still doing.
It's still doing.
Now.
It's also a part-time business. All
right. And Sarah, it's interesting how Kinyo's journey, Andy, there's nothing usually that you have not done. You've done almost everything. One fails, you're thinking about the other fails, you're thinking about the other. It's like, hey, you know, one journey that is just, and you learn a lot again from all those, right? Is a roller coaster. So understanding that he had passion, in as much as this one failed, we're not going to stop. We're still, you know, continuing and learning and getting to understand.
I'm going to stay. I'm going to go back to the. And you know, we have so many even graduates who are here. You don't have a job for 3, 4 years, 5 years. You don't have, and you can't put that pride down that, you know, I'm going to go back to the village. Try and do something there. Then you go back to the village. You're finding your former schoolmate who got an E or who got a D. They are the ones and run car wash. Akona gari yake hapo. And they are settled there. They are doing so well. You see. So even, you know, we need some point just put that pride down and say, you know, I'm gonna do what I have to do. What can I do with my hands? You see, and then build that up.
And motivation, because Kinyo also said at some point, nilikuwa naangalia pesa, inaleta pesa hapo, you know, and all those things, and then you realize, you know what, it's not as easy as that, because your driving factor is the money aspect. But there's so much that involves, you know, this business to thrive, just aside from the money itself. So maybe a lot of us who are watching and thinking, but sasa simi nataka kuona ile iko na pesa, nini gani iko na pesa. Even for the courses, some parents would ask you, lakini iko na pesa kweli?
Is it marketable?
You know, and all those things. So can we address very quickly, you know, the whole question about motivation, and is there such thing as good, you know, or right motivation or wrong motivation?
If it's right motivation, if it's giving you, first of all, it fulfills you, feel good doing it, and also it gives you money. At the end of the day, you're in business for money. That's one of the things, you know, because you gotta put food on the table anyhow. So it's wrong motivation if it's only the only thing is you want it for only money. You don't care how you get it. You see, however you get it, as long as you get money, then you know the intention, the motivation is wrong, and that means you can do anything, whether bad, whether breaking the law,
as long,
you know, as long as it is money. So yes, it is right. You need motivation, but you're doing legal things. You're doing things that are right, acceptable in the society. You can make it doing the right things. You know, so many people have made it doing the right things, and you know, and following the law, and so. But if it involves doing illegal things, so that you can get $1 million, you can get something, you know, uomoke, utoke tu, umespin na watu wako wanajua, then the intention is wrong, and you know, if you follow that path, it's path to destruction. So I want to say at this point, learn, seek for knowledge. That's what you want to invest in your mind, you know. And I want to say there are skills that you really need at this point. First, if you've just cleared high school, you need to know self-awareness and identity. Who are you? You know, what's your identity? Now you're not a student. What do we call you? So we need an identity. There's a whole program on that which we teach. Then from there, you also need to to think about mental health and self-care. These are things that now in this day and age we need to really think about. You need skills on personal leadership, etiquette, presentation, how to speak to people, you know, how to introduce yourself to people. You need to learn some confidence skills, bravery skills, like you know, it was bravery skills that made him even start business.
Yeah.
You can go and approach people, go and say, I want to do this. Can your manager, can I speak to your manager? You know, that's bravery. You just woke up one morning and you go to and can I speak to the manager? It's bravery.
Yeah.
Somebody will just be seated. My
Yeah.
uncle has my CV. I'm okay.
Yeah. And all those things. As we finish, allow me to take that as your parting shot, because we usually have to end the show right now. But yeah, and understand who you are and what your strengths are, and you know, use them. Doesn't matter whether you did well at school
so to every Form 4,
success
is not final and failure is not fatal.
Absolutely.
It is the courage to continue that really matters.
Absolutely.
Yes.
All right, and Kinyua, for you, after going through all these phases, because it's a lot, we can sit here and listen to your story for the entire day, right? But you have seen it all, you've gone through it all. In 10 seconds, what is it that you will tell young people who are watching us and thinking, I did not do so well in school? What is it I can do? Very quickly.
Seek for advice.
All right.
Allowed to seek for advice and motivate yourself and know what can I do, what can I do, and how can I make it up. Because myself, I also go back. I also went back to school.
I went back to school.
Went back to school. You need to know the Bible says, set your eyes on things in front. Look ahead. What's ahead? Can I be ready for that? If you have to go back to school because of your future, go back to school. If you have to work to pay for your fee, work to pay for your fee.
All right, but don't just sit and say this is it, my life is over, and all those things. There's always something that you can do. Your grades do not have to define who you are.
They don't define you.
Absolutely. All right, Sarah Munyi, life and career coach, as well as Kinyua Royford, who is an industrialist. Now you understand why he calls himself the same. But thank you very much to both of you really for coming by today and just helping us understand, you know what, it's not the end of the world. There's always something that you can do, and we're all gifted differently. So identify that and go after your dreams. So we have to put a pause here. My name is Winnie Lubembe. Have yourselves a good one. I'll see you next week on Monday, same time, same place. But for now, enjoy the rest of your day and go after your dreams. Your grades did not define you. Goodbye for now.